It's time for Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors.
Good Sunday morning to you. This is Karey Brown, broker, owner of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, and you're listening to Real Estate 101. And today I'm here with Andrew Howell, and he is with the Shawnee County Election Commissioner. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning.
So we're going to be talking, as we've been promoting during the week, about the election coming up. So let's talk about November 6th and the deadlines and where they can go.
Monday is still an opportunity for people. If you know you've got something going on Tuesday and you can't make it to your polling place, you have until noon on Monday, from 8 a.m. till noon. You can actually stop by our office and vote early in the office. That's called advanced voting. So that's an option for people to keep in mind, Monday till noon or at your polling place on Tuesday.
And your office is located at 3420 Southwest Van Buren Street. So if you wanted to go there, that's where...
Correct.
Okay.
That's the early voting site for Shawnee County, right behind Carlos O'Kelly's restaurant, kind of because a lot of people know that kind of landmark to help them get a sense of where that's at.
That makes sense. And how would they get a hold of you?
Our number is 251-5900. That's probably the single easiest way. We've got a couple of dedicated people who answer the phones. We actually don't have voicemail in the office because I want to make sure those phones get answered. So we're pretty careful to make sure we get those phones answered.
Okay. And then your email address is electionoffice@snco.us.
That is correct. Also our website, www.snco.us. A lot of information on there. But I just tell people, if you can't remember the website, it comes up fairly easily with a Google search. But if you can't remember it, call us at 251-5900, and we will help you walk through any questions you may have.
And then November 7th is the general election day. Let's talk about what people need to know about that.
Well, there's actually quite a bit election day. A lot of people know this is the first election due to a change in state law when we are having this election in August and November. It used to be like a February and April election, but in an attempt to help increase turnout, make it easier for people, the legislature has changed that law. And so this is the first year that we're holding these city school type elections, these local elections, at this time of the year. So it'll be interesting to see if that does make an impact on turnout. Know your polling place for election day. You can go to our website or call us. But on our website, at that snco.us website, down at the bottom of the page, we have a link called My Vote Info. If you'll click on that link, you can actually see the ballot that you should receive on election day. So you can think through ahead of time, who am I voting on? You know, we have a couple of races, actually more than that, in the county that no one filed for. So you may actually have the opportunity to write a name in on that line. So I know, 437, the papers talked about there's a race in school board where for some voters, they'll have that space where they will get to write a name in. So a lot of things to think about. Know your ballot, know your polling place. If you have the chance to visit our website and find out where your polling place is by clicking on that link, that will help you know where to go. Because remember, in Shawnee County, we have, for this election, 265 different ballots that are different. Because remember, everybody lives in a different location, and sometimes the boundaries change pretty frequently. So you have to go to your specific polling place to get your specific ballot to hold your specific elected officials accountable. So it's your opportunity to do that, and I recommend people look at your sample ballot. Go to that website, spend time making sure you understand what your ballot should look like. It does two things. Also, it lets you know on election day you should make sure that ballot that they're handing you is, in fact, your correct ballot. And if you've spent time on that website looking at your sample ballot, you'll know what it looks like and the number and precinct. So a lot of things to think about. 251-5900. You can call us on Monday, and we will help you with any questions related to that.
And the website address, in case you missed it, is www.snco.us. And that's where you can find your registration.
Yeah, your specific polling place and your specific ballot, all that should be listed there, your registration information. Yeah, there's a number of just different things. You can kind of check your registration, make sure you're ready to go.
I understand you guys have done a lot to improve the process. Tell me more about that.
Well, when I took the job in 2012, there had recently been an election where somebody had been handed the wrong ballot, and it affected the outcome of an election. And there really is nothing in state law that allows for, repairing those damages after they happen. So we have spent a lot of time in the office dealing with basically three things that have kind of been a critical process improvement process that we've gone through. We've worked very hard to improve voter wait times because when I came, there were significant wait time issues for the first couple of years. We've moved to an electronic poll book because those electronic poll books, I think, do a better job of helping move voters through the line more efficiently. And then we implemented something new with those tickets that print out that are really our internal election worker methodology that we've implemented that help us be sure as election workers on election day. Nearly 700 election workers out here at all these polling places on election day. So that's a lot of training time that we have to go through. So we've changed our training a little bit, and one of the things that we really emphasize, hand out the right ballot, and make sure that you use that ticket. That ticket is kind of the key to making sure that each voter gets the correct ballot. So, and one of the things that voters can do to make sure they're getting their correct ballot is ask to look at the ticket, because I train for customer service purposes, make sure each voter gets to see the ticket, and they can verify that if it says they're eligible for ballot number 347, that you in fact hand them a ballot number 347 in the upper right-hand corner. So the voter can also use that process to verify that they also understand they're getting the correct ballot. So we've done a lot of training and a lot of emphasis on that. And then on election night, we've also really worked at ramping up the efficiencies of our internal processes. We have 99 election judges from 99 sites across the county who will be driving in those election results to our office. So that takes some time. So if they get there by, say, 8:15, it may be 9 or 9:15 before we can get those results into the computer system and uploaded for the public to see. But we're working, and I think the last couple of elections with the new equipment, we've demonstrated that we're much more efficient and much better at getting that information out to candidates as well as the public. So those are probably the big three things that we've really worked on improving our processes. The other thing I might add, I think people don't know this either, that's kind of an important process. There's a lot of questions in people's minds, and I understand that about how accurate are the elections and how certain are we that they're secure. One of the things that people don't know is that state law requires us to not have that the computer that does the actual analysis of the results cannot be connected to the internet in any way. So by law, we don't have it connected to the internet. Additionally, the machines in the polling place that actually do the tabulation and actually do the technical counting on each ballot are also not accessible by a phone line or computers. So in addition to numerous passwords, numerous physical locks, there's just really no simple, quick, or easy way to get access to that. So it's important for people to know that we treat those security issues seriously. We take them seriously. They were considered as part of the new equipment that's been purchased recently. So a lot of steps that we take to help make sure the public can be confident that we take the security issues seriously.
Let's talk school board elections.
In Shawnee County, in District 345, Sherry Sage is running for position A4. In B5, Kent Biggs, Richard Eckert, and Keith Griffin. And then 345 C6 is Carl McNorton. And then in USD 372, it's a little bit different. It's at large with three positions: Jake Fisher, Tracy Higginbotham, and flipping pages here, I believe that's the only two that we have filed for those three positions. So there will probably be another write-in in that election. And then in 437, Jacqueline Lightcap, no candidate in B5. We do know that somebody is running a pretty aggressive write-in campaign for that position. And then in C6, Amanda Kiefer and Michael White are running in 437. 450, position A4, Thomas P. Brown Jr. and Rosa Cavazos. And I probably got
you
that
said
close.
That right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 450B5, Erica Price, Jason Schultz, and Ken Scott. 450C6, Renee Hansen and Matthew Stadler. And then in 501, no opposition. John R. Williams, Michael R. Morrison, and Scott Mickelson are the candidates there.
Now let's talk the mayoral candidates and the city councils.
Topeka mayor race, the candidates on the ballot will be Michelle De La Isla and Spencer Duncan for mayor. And then city council districts 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And then we have an unexpired term in 4. So quite a few. In council district 1, it's Linnell Griffith and Karen Hiller. District 3, Janelle Clay Bills and Sylvia Ortiz. And in District 4, unexpired term is Rita Bloomberg, Tony Emerson, and Jonathan Shum. Council District 5, Scott Bowman, Brett Daniel Kell, and Mike Padilla. Council District 7, Joselito Ping Enriquez and Aaron Mays are your 2 candidates. And then in District 9, Joe Charay, Michael Lesser, and Justin Tietzman.
So we're going to take a break real quick and listen to the word from our sponsors. That's Jim Garrison from State Farm, Carpet One, and Vista Credit Union, and Security First. We'll be right back after the break.
Southwest Topeka has a good neighbor. State Farm agent Jim Garrison, now at 29th and Urish. If your current insurance situation has you going around in circles, get off the roundabout and stop in and meet Jim and his wonderfully efficient staff. Let Jim Garrison give you a quote and make the Garrison comparison. He's confident that with State Farm's competitive rates, the right coverage, and his unmatched service, you'll want to make him your new insurance agent. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and Jim Garrison is there for you, northeast of the roundabout at 29th and Urish.
Thanks for joining us again. This is Karey Brown, broker, owner of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, and I am back with Andrew Howell. He is the Shawnee County Election Commissioner. So, Andrew, let's talk a little bit about Sherwood. We didn't touch on that before the break.
Yeah, one of the things that changed was the time frame that the Sherwood election was held. It used to be held in even-numbered years in November. But with the recent change in law changing the time these elections are held for the local races at the city and school level, now we're seeing that on the ballot again. So this is new, and the time frame is new. So you're going to have a Sherwood Improvement District election in that Sherwood area. We have 4 people on the ballot for those 3 positions, and the names are Colt Brown, Doug Mays, Rick Nesbitt, and George Schuler. Those are your 4 candidates, 3 of which will be elected. So, and remember, the 3 tests that we train our board workers are that you must be a registered voter, and you must be a taxpayer, and must be a resident. So those are the 3 things that your election workers are basically working through and confirming on Election Day at that location. The other thing I think it's important to hit on here is, we know that in the city of Willard in Shawnee County, in the city of Auburn, Silver Lake Drainage Board, in the 437 Auburn-Washburn School District, and in the 372 Silver Lake, all of those elections are actually going to elect someone by write-in. So keep in mind that in this election, you have that write-in option. Feel free to exercise that. We actually, after every election, go through and catalog every last, and actually physically record every last write-in vote. And so actually after every election, it's always fascinating to me. We had over 11,000 write-in votes that we had to keep track of, because you have to do that to figure out who the winners are. And we actually build an abstract that shows how many times Mickey Mouse was voted. I mean, how many times each of those different names throughout the entire process are written in. So interesting thing to do if you're bored on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. You want to see all the different creative names people came up with for their write-in option.
Did they really put Mickey Mouse in there?
Oh yeah, no, it's actually kind of fun to see how creative people can be with their write-in options, and it's democracy in action.
Oh wow, makes you wonder why they went out to vote if they're going to put it. Oh, that's fun. So let's say somebody comes in and their name is changed or their address is changed. How does all that go about once Election Day is taking place?
We spend a lot of time in our election worker school. Like I said, it takes me a week of work until 9 p.m. to get all 700 and some election workers through these training processes that we do. In the provisional process, is required by law. And what we train people in Shawnee County and across the state is that you either get a regular ballot that you're assigned to if you check in at the electronic poll book and everything's fine, you follow all the requirements, or you get a provisional ballot. And what that allows the election office to do is to do the research after Election Day and verify, should it count, should it not, based on all the different laws that apply. It's really, think of it as a safety net process. We want to make sure that we're preserving that voter's right to be counted if at all possible. So we're using the provisional process as a safety net process to make sure that we don't turn people away at the polls. So if there's a question mark, and what I train my election workers is there are 5 reasons for a provisional. And so if you have changed your name, you may have to do a provisional. If you've moved, but you've moved in the county, the NVRA law will kick in, but we need to do that research to figure out, was it in county or not? So, or if, let's say you forgot your driver's license on election morning, you really want to vote, you don't have you're almost late for work. I train people, go ahead and let them vote provisional. They have until 9 days later to get that photo ID document, government issued, has your name, has a photo on it, to our office. You can email it. You can fax it. I just need a copy of it so that I can recommend it be counted according to law, and it will actually be a part of what we do on Canvas. And then if you are an advanced voter but you didn't get your mail ballot in on time, remember you have a couple options there. You can either drop it at any polling place now on Election Day, but it will also be a provisional because we have to do that research to figure out, again, we make sure every voter only gets to vote once, and that's part of that process. And then additionally, if people show up at the wrong polling place, we really try to get you to go to the right place because that's where your specific ballot that has all the names of your specific elected officials. So, again, try to get them to go to the right place, but if it's 6:59 and it's closing in 1 minute, then we go ahead and do a provisional, and we'll make sure however many that we can get counted of your officials that are on that ballot get counted. So, it can be a little confusing, but it's really designed as a safety net to make sure that we don't unnecessarily or unfairly turn people away. So that's really kind of the quick explanation of a provisional ballot. And it's nothing more than a regular ballot. We just capture it in a privacy or a secrecy envelope called a provisional ballot envelope, which then lets us do all that research as to the facts as to whether we recommend it count. And again, I don't make the decision as to whether it counts. That's done by the Shawnee County commissioners sitting as the Canvas board.
So again, real quick, let's talk about Monday and the deadlines and go into Tuesday again so that everybody knows what time and where they should go.
Monday from 8 a.m. until noon, and I think sometimes that confuses people, but remember the reason we only go till noon on Monday is because we have to take all those electronic poll books and get them ready to hand out to our supervising judges for each one of those 99 polling places. And I've got a limited amount of time by law to get that to them. So at noon, we shut that down, and then we turn that data back around, get those so that we have a record of who has or hasn't voted early. That's now in the poll books. And we'll give that to each of our judges on that same Monday. But that's why it's 8 a.m. Till noon on Monday. You can vote in the office at 3420 Southwest Van Buren at the election office. And then Tuesday, I hope you've had a chance to visit our website and look at that link at the bottom of the page, My Vote Info. It's just a link. You click on it, and then you fill out the information, and it will tell you where your polling place is, as well as give you a chance to review your specific ballot. So find your polling place on Election Day, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's when the polls will be open, and then we'll begin reporting results probably sometime around 8:30 to 9. If I had to guess, we will start pushing out some information as to what the results are.
And I understand that you guys won a very prestigious award here recently. Tell me about that.
We did. We actually won the Innovator Award from the International Association of Government Officials. We're very proud of it. I think it represents an acknowledgement, frankly, across the U.S. as well as from other parts of the globe that we have done good work in saving money for our voters. In Shawnee County, we've saved over $300,000 because of the way we handled that bid process, and I'll talk about that here in a second. Also, because we've been very focused, one of the things that we've tried to do is make sure that each of the ballots that get handed out is correct. And so we used a barcode process to make sure that it was much easier to make sure that voters who vote on those touch screens, which are there for ADA purposes, but other people can use them. So we've made sure that that barcode process by our vendors allows for the correct ballot to be brought up, and it's much more certain that the right ballot will be handed out to that voter. So a couple of things that we did we're proud of. We actually got together with the other 3 election commissioners in the state of Kansas and did a joint RFP because we thought it was important. That actually represents over 52% of registered voters in the state of Kansas. So you're actually starting to get the vendors' attention at this point because they recognize really what we're doing is trying to drive prices down and get their attention as to the way we wanted those systems configured. And so that's really what the award is recognizing, working well with others, saving taxpayer money in the process, and building a lot more certainty in those specific processes to make sure that each voter gets their correct ballot. The other thing I really kind of want to emphasize with this, the public was fairly well engaged. Board workers, our election workers were engaged in this process. In 2015, we did a public participation and public comment period that went quite a while. And we learned from that the public, especially in Shawnee County, very concerned that there is a paper ballot for every voter so that if there is ever a question, that we can actually go back and manually, teams of Republicans and Democrats, go back through every paper ballot, if necessary, and verify what actually happened. So this equipment does have that capability. If you get a ballot on Election Day, you will have to scan it in the tabulation device because it's all paper-based. So we're proud of that as well. We think it helps enhance customer service and public certainty that they can trust the results because there's a piece of paper for every voter that shows what their intent was. And every voter has numerous opportunities to review that piece of paper to make sure it accurately reflects their intent. So the other thing that we do, and we're required to do by law that a lot of people frankly don't know, and we continue to do this, is we do a public test that the public can come and view both before and after Election Day, and we verify that every piece of equipment used in the election functions as expected. So if there ever were something that happened that we didn't know about or didn't anticipate, we would catch that during that public test process, both before and after. So we go through a lot of things to make sure that we're saving taxpayer money, making sure that voters have confidence in the system, and we are proud of the award, and kind of a recognition of our efforts in that regard. I've actually been asked to come and speak at their winter conference, and we'll probably do that.
Is it in a tropical place at least?
No, I think it's in San Diego. So it's still in the the upper part of the United States. I don't believe it's in Hawaii or in tropics, but it's an opportunity to share with other elections officials across the U.S. what we've done, how it was effective, and how they can also access or use that same process.
That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So one more time, tell them where you're located, when they should come out, and anything that they should expect to try and avoid, like road construction or anything like that on the way to do their voting. Yeah,
visit our website because we try to include those kinds of things. Think about construction once you know where your polling place is. There's a lot of road construction, which is a good thing, but just think about how it might affect those 99 locations, whichever one is yours. Be thinking about your ability to get there. And remember, if it's too tough, you can just come to the office and vote early and not have to deal with that construction question or unknown. So keep that in mind. And again, I also want to emphasize the law has changed, and people can, if you want to bring your mail ballot, let's say you requested a ballot from us 2 weeks ago, it's been sitting on your counter, you meant to get it back to us, now you're running late, you can now drop that ballot off at any of the 99 polling locations, and they will just keep it in a sealed bag and get it to us on election night. So new convenience, new law, new process. Polls open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. next Tuesday. It's your chance to have your voice heard. So we'd like to see a great turnout for this election. It's important. Remember your cities and your schools. These are local elections. They affect your local expenditures, your local taxes, your priorities. So they're probably, in a way, affect your pocketbook and what really happens in your school and city in a bigger way than a presidential election, quite frankly, because it's very local, it's very specific, and involves your friends and neighbors right next door. So I encourage everybody, remember Tuesday's election day, get to the polls, but check our website or give us a call at that 251-5900 number as well. If you've got any questions, we're happy to help you walk through the website. Sometimes people get confused, and I understand that. So we try to keep people standing by for that very reason. Our address is 3420 Southwest Van Buren, right behind the Carlos O'Kelly's restaurant. Our website is www.snco.us. You can also Google us. Just Google the Shawnee County Election Office. We come up fairly easily. It's not hard to find us on the web. Our phone number, 251-5900. We also monitor our email very closely. Feel free to email us at electionoffice@snco.us. And then I think that's pretty much the ways people can connect with us. But keep all those options in mind.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. And if you're looking to buy or sell, be sure and give us a call at 785-213-5188. Or you're welcome to email us at preferredadvisorsteam@gmail.com. You can find us on the web. Our website is nekansashomes.com. That covers all of Northeast Kansas and some of Missouri also. So be sure and look there to find a home. Again, still the most accurate place to find every home in the Northeast Kansas area. And also be sure and visit our Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn. All of that can be found by looking for Realty Executives Preferred Advisors. Thank you so much for joining us on Real Estate 101.
Thank you for listening to Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors. Tune in again next Sunday at 11 o'clock for Real Estate 101.